Welcome to Lead Dev Live. Super excited to be here. Very thankful in this troubling time that we're all able to get together and still learn. So my talk today is going to be eliminating hero culture. I feel like hero culture is something like a buzzword in the tech community specifically. There is so much to be said surrounding hero culture. There are so many articles, so much to read about, but I want to talk about today from my perspective and how it affects teams and how we are, what kind of questions to ask ourselves about hero culture and how we can fix it and how we can plan for it and how, when we identify when we have promoted hero culture, how we can correct it. So my name is Brianna McCollough. I am an infrastructure program manager at Google. I am the founder of breedlimitless.com. So go there, subscribe to my website. I write a lot of blogs, very in-depth tech information. And follow me on all social media. My name is @BreeLimitless on Twitter, which is what I'm most active on, Instagram as well, or you can find me on LinkedIn. So who am I? That's a great question. So I am a tweet fanatic. Anyone will tell you, like, I love Twitter. I feel like it's a great way to get our ideas across. I'm a wine enthusiast, kind of a wine snob. I hate to say that, but it's true. I love pairings. And I'm a hard worker. I work really hard. I have on any given day, I have so much going on, but I love speaking, I love blogging, I love mentoring. So days like this are my priorities. So I want us to take a great look at this picture. Like, we see this, and I want you to think to yourself, what do you think in the back of your head, right? We see this superhero. And I'm going to tell you from my perspective, he's flying, which is not a human capability, right? He's wearing a cape and a costume, which, unless it's like the holiday time, you don't really see people showing up to work like that. He has on a mask, right? Which is really probably not something that you would show up to work in. He has on gloves. He's ripped. This is a superhero. Right. This is what we see when we go to the movies. This is what we see when we take our kids, right, to the toy store. Superheroes. It's a figment of our imagination. It's not real. We have promoted a hero culture in tech where we are promoting work ethic that is just simply not real. So I want to start this off by talking about what hero culture really is. So hero culture has turned into people who work long and hard hours, no matter what the justification is, to get work done. They have the knowledge and judgment that other people on the team do not have. They are people who are not working 50 hours a week. They're pulling 80 hours a week. Hero culture are the people, the go-to person, the person that needs to be in on any and every meeting. Hero culture is something that you create that makes other employees feel minimized when they are not the hero because they don't have the same knowledge transfer experience as who we would deem as our hero. They don't have the skills, and operating in this culture is very difficult. So when you're operating in a culture like hero culture, what you do is you put yourself in the position in your team to be in this rat race. And I love this image so much because, as you can see on the little dial, it says, like, everyone's waiting for 3 minutes, but you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere fast. The train is empty, right? That's the reality of the situation, is that when you start to embed this hero culture into your organization, you turn your organization not only into a very scrappy environment, but you also start to see that people get into a rush to go nowhere. They're in this rat race, this internal rat race that is not reality. So I want us as leaders to start off by asking ourselves some really important questions. Do you have people on your team that are the following, which is, are they considered the go-to person, the person that everyone on the team goes to, the lead, the TL, what so have you in your organization? When this person goes on vacation, is your team in a free setting? Are you not pushing any code to production? Are you not writing documentation? Are you unable to operate as a normal business when this person is not there? Is their attendance at every meeting mandatory? Are they having to be in on every meeting because they are a priority, or they are needed all the time? Are they overworked and overloaded all the time? Are you constantly having to redirect work, or are they constantly getting competing priorities? Um, do they have explosive attitudes from results of being overworked? I know that when I get to a point where I'm stressed out or nervous, like at that point, I am at my wit's end. I'm stressed out. I'm overworked. Are they pulling over 60 hours a week? Have they lost PTO, right, from not being able to take time off work? So I know a lot of people in the industry that lose PTO. That's losing money because they are unable to step away from their responsibilities within corporate America in order to keep their PTO or take time off. Or when they do take time off, they're not even able to log it because they're working the whole time. Are they the lead for every project? Are they the resource for most of the teams? Are they the manager's go-to person because they're considered irreplaceable, right? So we need to think about these questions. And if you think about these questions, I want this to lead you to another answer. You have probably fostered a hero culture, and I'm so sorry to say that, but if you answered yes to a lot of those questions, or thought of a person in the back of your head like, oh yes, so-and-so is like that, or I can point this out because so-and-so, but that's okay. We're going to fix it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to decide how we can undo that kind of fostered mentality. So first, I want our leaders to ask ourselves: are we a leader or are we a boss? Are we leading our team, or are we telling our team what to do? Because I feel like leadership, it leads us to collaboration. It helps us to enjoy those milestones all together. And what happens is, when you have a hero on the team, you're no longer a leader. They become the boss, right? They become simultaneously someone who is given all the credit for a project because they probably have done all the work because the knowledge has not been spread across the team. And so you get the ladder of the situation. People who are at the top all the time, or they're getting all the recognition. It's not a team thing anymore, but more so it is an individual-led team. And that leads to the happiness of the team wearing out, right? I always tell people, when teams start gathering in frustration instead of gathering in momentum and happiness, that is a problem, because a lot of teams, what I've found is that they are gathering because they're all frustrated with situations and with how the team is being ran. It is never good that your team is bonding in frustration. We should always make sure that our teams are bonding in mutual understanding and goals and happiness, right? Because when you start bonding in frustration, then all your happiness is sold out. So now that we've asked ourselves some really, really valid questions, let's discuss the environment that hero culture creates, right? So what happens is, when one person owns all of the documentation, or they might own everything, you want to talk about, there's a lack of knowledge transfer, right? So why is only one person, why do they only have the knowledge, right? Are they the only person that are working on certain projects, which should never be so? Are they not collaborating, which should really never be so? And that creates extreme technical debt. Technical debt is not something that engineering teams want to have a lot of. Then there's no common or mutual understanding. Like when that hero is not able to be in the room, then you are unable to have conversations without them, because there is no common or mutual understanding. Nobody knows what anyone else is doing. And that is really an awful predicament. And then you get imposter syndrome of your other employees. Like, they start feeling like they're inadequate. Something is wrong with them because they're not being given the opportunity to have the same knowledge, or they don't have access to the same mutual understanding. Promotions slow down. So that hero is going to keep being the hero because nobody else can get promoted, because they don't have the opportunity to. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the seniority. Team becomes a dumping ground, right? So you get to the point where everyone is dumping everything on the team, and that leads you to burnout, right? Anytime any of these factors are true, especially technical debt and imposter syndrome, whenever your team starts feeling inadequate at the cost of one person or leadership, it leads to quick burnout, right? So I want to say, now that we've asked ourselves these questions, we understand what kind of environment this leads to. I want to say we need to understand that heroes are heroes for a reason. We need to give them the benefit of the doubt. We need to understand that if they're eluding great attitudes, these individuals have probably done great work, contributed a great deal to companies in the tech space, and they should be allowed the same respect and grace as other individual contributors, right? So think about people talking about hero culture in a negative way, right? So a lot of people say like, oh, well, they're a hero, blah, blah, this, that, and the third. Most people have been put in that position they didn't ask to be. Leadership has dumped them with so much that they've had to be the hero. So let's think about that when we're talking about changing this, and not just cutting them out and making them feel like they've done something wrong, but digging on the inside, like, what have we as an organization done to make these people feel like they need to carry the burden of the team? So as we get into how to fix it, I want to remind everybody that teamwork makes the dream work. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. And that goes back to my quote with my session title, which is that you can go fast alone, but you can go further together. And we need to understand that when we're talking about eliminating hero culture, because it's not just a myth, it is a true problem. Like, this is something that is embedded in the tech community. So to be a team, we need to discover what eliminates hero culture. What are some of the things that we can focus on that are going to eliminate the overall thought process of our heroes, right? So what are some of the processes and improvements that we can initiate into our organization that can make it better, and that we don't have this problem the next time around? So that leads me to my next thing: policies and processes. So if you keep heroes in their way of work, the longer they stay, the harder it is to change. So if you have heroes that have been there for 20 years, this is not going to be an easy process to break up, right? But remember, if you try to get rid of those processes quickly, you put yourself in the company at ultimate risk, right? Because these are people who have built these systems from the ground up. They have all the knowledge. They have the knowledge transfer. So this is important to remember when we're thinking about the processes we're going to put in place to remove them or take them out of those positions. So let's start by offloading, right? Make documentation when new employees come in mandatory. Create weekly knowledge transfer meetings for the team to get together, right? At multiple companies that I've worked with, we had one-on-ones with our leads of the team to do knowledge transfers. Everyone on the team should never not know what everyone else is doing and what is going on. If that ever becomes the case, then you have a problem on your hands. Never have only one person on a project. There should always be a senior and a lead and a junior on the project, or a entry-level engineer or an entry-level professional. Pair programming should be a requirement when you get into programming and coding. There should be a requirement that it is paired, right? So there should never be a less junior person not pairing with a lead. Onboarding processes, right? So how can we start giving these heroes mentors or mentees of people that they can bring up or they can foster into these relationships so that we don't have these problems? And make sure, a big thing that could change is review should be heavily based on those who practice teamwork and mentorship and collaboration. So if you come to me at the end of the year, it's your end of year review, and we start discussing, we start thinking about leadership, and we start thinking about collaboration, and you have not exemplified any of those factors, then it's definitely going to play into how your review is held. Regardless of who the hero is, they should be treated with respect, transitioning out of their reputation. And then we need to eliminate loopholes, right? We need to make sure that we're eliminating loopholes so that this doesn't happen again. And we need to include the hero in how we're deciding to distribute this work. How would you like us to distribute this work? What are some of the tasks that we can offload and take off of your plate to make this a better environment for everyone? That so you, when you go on vacation, you can enjoy it. What are some of the things that we can do to skill people up, right, and bring them to your level? So, for the takeaways from my talk, I just want to remind everyone that it's important to plan, make sure that we have processes in place, making sure that we are creating an environment that fosters teamwork. Identify heroes early on. People don't become heroes over 20 years, but sometimes it's over a lifetime of work and achievement. We need to make collaboration a part of our development plans and review, right? So when we have leads on our team, we need to make sure that we are making collaboration a part of their development plan. Who are you bringing up? Let's judge them on when you get into that leadership position. It should be more so about the people that you are bringing up behind you. Who are you bringing up? How are you fostering these relationships? Be respectful. Heroes are human too, and remember, nothing happens over time overnight. Change takes time. And most importantly, teamwork does make the dream work. No matter what people say, teamwork is super important. And we have to remember that when we are eliminating hero culture, it might be painful when we have these people in positions that we can always depend on. But just know that on the other end, we are creating and fostering a much better environment. I want to say thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the conference. If you want to chat or find me, again, my name is Brianna McCollough. I am an infrastructure program manager at Google, the founder of BreLimitless.com, and I am at BreLimitless across all social media. Thank you so much.